Good evening, folks, and thank you all for joining us on another edition of the Nightmare Hunters. Boys, we've got a good show in store for everybody tonight. This is one me and Robbie and Doc was discussing the other day, and I think this one's going to be a heck of a lot of fun, plus informative at the same time. But before we get into that, I wanted to give a big shout out to everybody we got to see today at the Ozark Mountain Bigfoot Conference. I was the first speaker of the day. If you guys were there, I know a bunch of people from the chat were there, including Roxanne was there. Eric Testerman was there. There were several people there. Pyromedic was there. It was a good time. I got to meet some awesome people, including Ryan RPG Golombleski, really cool dude. We're going to be having him on the show in the next couple of weeks because it is about freaking time somebody in the mainstream part of the Bigfoot world was looking at some of our theories. He is right there on board with us for them being subterranean. Nice. And he has got an incredible explanation for why. He's a very sharp dude. We're going to have him on soon. Some great speakers today. Met a lot of awesome folks, and I thought I made a pretty good presentation. But afterwards, after mine, I had so many people come up and ask me questions. It was just absolutely awesome. Right. But something else came about today that I'm not quite ready to announce to you all. I am going to be dropping some so subtle and some not so subtle hints over the next couple of weeks. And then we will make the big announcement sometime around Halloween. I don't, we're still working out details, so I don't want to drop too much information. But the for those of you playing the home game right now, the first little hint is it has something to do with the letter X. And that's all I'm going to say for right now. But there will be more to come. So tonight, I am in the studio with Robbie Jed Brains, Carrie Pocket Doc Davis. You know, man, Robbie and I are almost twins, but Carrie's the good-looking one of the group. He's also the little one.
Y'all need glasses.
So, boys, how the hell are you guys?
Wyatt, I am rolling.
Absolutely. So
I'm okay. How you follow that? I mean,
I don't know. You're eating up the freaking charts with that new book release.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you were in the top 10 in a couple of categories, I think.
Yeah, according to what Luca put out, she was 1, 3, and 4, or 1 and 3, and I was number 4 in like hot new releases and folklore.
There you go, man.
Nice, dude.
That is awesome.
At one point, all 5 books were, all 5 books that are out right now were in the top 100 of folklore.
Nice. Hell yeah. So, folks, if you haven't already had a chance to check out Robbie's new release, check that out on Amazon. Check that out on Amazon, and I will be popping the link up into the chat in just a second as soon as I can hit the right command without changing my screen. So the link should be popping up in the chat for Robbie's new book, but that link will also take you to Amazon, where you can click on his name on that link and you'll see all of his books. So if you haven't had a chance, pick them up, get them while they're hot, and more are coming and more are on the way. And we've got some good news of our own coming in the very near future. Bigger things are coming, folks, and I'm so excited. I really can't wait to tell you, but I promised some individuals that we will not release the big reveal until it is much closer to time for it to actually start happening. But suffice to say, I'm pretty dang stoked, and it doesn't just mean just for me. It's for all of us. I'm a firm believer that when the tide comes in, all ships should rise, and this is going to be good for not only our community we're building, but it's going to be good for all 3 of us sitting here. Anything to do with the show is gonna. And it's going to bring about a lot more for us. So,
and Doc and I will both tell you, he got so excited about it. He was talking so fast and so high. He sounded like a chipmunk or a dolphin or something. I mean,
Chipmunk on crack.
Andy.
That would be my microphone, sir. Microphone issues, microphone dysfunction, if you will.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, I'll say that. So yeah, it definitely was a microphone malfunction.
Yeah, it was. Oh.
Yeah. So, Lone Queen says, for us vertically challenged, if we hit our heads, the thing is placed too low.
Right.
So, let's jump into this new topic tonight, kicking and screaming, and just see where this takes us. Now, we have covered bug out bags in the past, but this is a different critter. This is a day pack. Like if you're planning on going spend some time going out taking pictures in nature, or doing a day hike, or going out to one of your favorite locations where you have heard of cryptid sightings. If you're just planning to be out there for the day pack is your grab and go animal. Now, as we jump into this, I want to say I'm not a brand snob. I'm not gonna push one particular brand of bag over another. The important thing about bag selection is it's comfortable to carry. And it doesn't have to be big, but if you prefer like a full-size backpack as your day pack, that is fine too. I just carry a little 511 satchel because it's big enough for everything I need. But as things progress and more gear gets added, I'm sure I'll probably graduate to a slightly bigger bag. But I want to discuss right off the bat, and I know the primary thing, if you're going to be anywhere away from basic 911 services, if you're going to carry a day pack and you're going to go someplace dangerous, please, first and foremost, select and learn to use a good medical kit. And I'm not just touting that because Doc's family to me, but I'm telling you, coming as a first responder, that medical kit is worth its weight in gold, because it's kind of like being in an airplane that's getting ready to crash with a parachute. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, because if you ever need it and don't have it, odds are really good you'll never need it again.
Never need it again. Amen.
So, I understand if you're on a budget and you're trying to pack things on inexpensively. Now, I'm still gonna say right off the bat, I highly recommend a Dark Angel kit. But at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Doc. Well, not only he's going to tell you about a basic day kit that Dark Angel carries, he's also going to tell you a little bit how to construct a decent one on the cheap. Doc,
thank you.
Take it away, brother.
All right. So a lot of people, have a misconception in first aid kits. It's just every kit's a first aid kit. Now, there's major first aid and there's minor first aid. So let's talk about some minor first aid stuff. That's probably the stuff you're gonna utilize more than anything. And like DA said, on this day pack situation, you're trying to minimize your weight, because the old saying is ounces equal pounds and pounds equal pain. And so you definitely want to have a comfortable bag that'll handle the load, the weight that you're putting in it. So don't, and like DA saying, not being a brand snob or anything like that. Lots of good bags out there, and to get a good bag, you're probably gonna have to spend a little bit more money on it to get a decent bag, well constructed bag. That's what you're looking at is the construction of it. So. All right, so let's talk about your kit. What goes in this little kit? You can I would recommend things, little small comfort care things, other than your bandages, your adhesive bandages, maybe some 2x2s, some 4x4s, maybe a little couple rolls of 3-inch gauze with some tape. Antiseptic wipes are a good one. And I like these other things called Sustenance wipes or Sting wipes. Little packets of burn gel that can be utilized for any kind of burn. Sunscreen, little sunscreen packages, lip balm, anything like that. And something else is there's if you don't have room for a water purifier as part of the health and safety thing, first aid stuff is clean water. So you can carry some micro pure tabs and you can dump one into a liter of water, and it'll disinfect it. Won't make it smell any better or taste any better, but it'll kill all the critters in there if you've got some nasty water in it. So those are some of your basic minor first aid stuff. For your more major first aid, you could go with just the top 5. I always say, hey, get you some gloves, a tourniquet or 2, chest seals, some quick clot, and a pressure bandage. And that's a super basic, less than 12 ounces, roughly. Little that's like, oh my God, somebody's bleeding to death trauma kit right there. And if you got enough room, also for along with health and safety and first aid stuff, is throw a Mylar blanket or 2 in there as well, because that's going to help you maintain body temperature. And let's say you're caught in, it's a day hike, but you don't know what the weather does. Like here in Colorado, the weather can be completely nuts. It can be fine in the morning, and around noon, it just turns into a crap show. So, and that'll help protect you from the environment. So those are just some of the things you get. Now, we have an ouch pouch. It's on our website. It's a pretty comprehensive little first aid kit as well. If someone got like an ouch pouch and an EDC, I've seen a couple orders come in today, that exact combo. The ouch pouch with an EDC kit is going to be literally, with the tourniquet, with one tourniquet, the EDC, the ouch pouch, is going to be less than 18 ounces. So it's going to be roughly a pound ish. Okay. So so that's not a whole lot of weight to carry in there, in your kit. It's not going to be a whole lot of weight to worry about. But you can, if you want to go on, I wouldn't recommend Amazon so much. Just be cautious about the reviews on it. Make sure it's what it is you're ordering. As far as your minor first aid stuff, you can actually go to Walmart. You can go to Rite Aid. You can go to CVS. These little stores, and you can get a decent little kit. You're going to pay more for it though. Hillary says, I use a product called Stearamine, 1 tablet, 1 gallon, antibacterial cleaner used in restaurants. No rinse, kills everything. That's pretty cool. I like that. So that's a good cleaner. So if you need to clean something, but as far as the drinking water, the micro pure tablets work really well. So yeah, you can go to Walmart. You can go to Rite Aid, CVS, all these other groceries, or not grocery stores, but pharmacies, and you can build your own minor thing. Be very cautious about some of the adventure medical kits and things like that, the pre-built ones, because they don't have the necessary amount of hemostatic gauze in there to occlude a moderate to severe bleed. So they are lacking in some things. So also, ours are HSA, FSA eligible. And if you use one of our trauma kits to save a life, then just let us know what you used and we'll actually replace it 100%. That's called our Kit for Life guarantee. Oh, and we are now at 209.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, and also one of the things I want to hit on is with this first aid stuff, minor wound care, because if you're out in the woods, even if it's on a day hike or something like that, you need to make sure if you do get injured, make sure you clean it initially, and that way you're preventing infection and contamination down the line. Good. Arlen Neal, I have 3 live straws. Those are always good to have. Just make sure when you get done drinking, you give it a good blow, like a blowgun, and blow all that crud out of there. You could even rubber band you a coffee filter over the end of that thing to help take some of the sediment and everything out from clogging your filter. It makes it last a lot longer. Just little tips and tricks there. But for your first aid stuff, besides your sunscreen and that kind of good stuff, I would highly, highly recommend, if you take any kind of medication, take it with you. So take it with you. And it is it is something that you want to make sure that you have taken your medication. But yeah, make sure you take your meds with you. And also just over the counter stuff that you might, if you take Tylenol, if you take Advil, if you take Motrin, whatever, those medications, take some of that stuff with you too. Some aspirin, just little stuff like that can definitely make the difference in it being a crap day, or just being, the day wasn't so great, but it could have been a lot worse. So just that little proper bit of preparation and the training. If you look at our YouTube channel, there is a 30-minute free video on there that goes over the basics of trauma care, the tourniquet, the limbs, pack the junction, seal the box. And actually, one of the viewers here in our chat, I don't think they're in here tonight, actually utilized that. And that was one of the saves. So, yeah, pretty amazing stuff. So, yeah.
And you might throw in like a little bottle of Benadryl, because
100%.
insect bites can get bad,
Yeah.
especially if you're allergic.
And also, if for allergic stuff, carry some chewable Pepsid. You can carry some chewable Benadryl and some chewable Pepsid. They're lower doses than prescription strength. I think the Benadryl is like 12.5 milligrams, and a standard adult dose is 25 milligrams. But you go more than that. But it's something good to have. And I'm going to show you a little pill bottle, a little pill container. I just got this in, and I haven't even labeled it yet, but this is a great little container that you can throw in your first aid, and you can have all kinds of stuff in here labeled, right? Just get your little label maker and hit that up, and you've got multiple things that you can carry with you, and it's sealed up in a little impact resistant kit like that. So I got it off Amazon. It's just a travel pill holder case. Thank you. Yes, it's a travel holder. Yeah, pill case. So something like that anything can make your life a little bit easier for your first aid stuff. And I'll tell you, man, like that sting wipe stuff, the antiseptic wipes, alcohol swabs, that stuff can absolutely be a game changer. Hand sanitizer, that's something else you can carry with you. Some hand sanitizer. I would recommend hand sanitizer gel if you can. And also that stuff is great for a fire starter, but it's got a high alcohol. It's got a high alcohol content. So yeah, so there you go. I mean, a lot of stuff that has dual purpose. Carry some extra gloves with you. So just be safe and be prepared. And if you've got things that you'd like to take with you, for minor first aid, absolutely take it with you, and just to make your life more comfortable, and hope you never have to use it.
Absolutely. Before we go any further, I wanted to show a couple of pictures from the convention today. This young lady who's in the chat was there, and we got to talk for quite a while. Roxanne, it was good hanging out with you. Here's a shot of me up on the stage. I was part of my presentation. And Eric E.D. Testerman was there, and we got one of him as well. Sorry, Jarhead, I could not resist.
That's
so,
funny.
What do you guys think is the next most important thing to have in a day pack?
Next after
medical. And I would say water and water purification, that goes under medical. What do you guys think would be next?
My personal, I mean, either a knife or a compass, whichever one you want to say, because either one of them I think is equally as important.
I was kind of angling toward knife anyway. Robbie, why don't you tell us about knives to carry, the purpose of the knife, and the best kind to probably keep in a small pack?
Okay, so when you're thinking about a blade for something like this, like Doc alluded to earlier, you want to think the ounces equal pounds, pounds equal pain thing, but you still have to also think of what you're going to use a blade for. Some folders are really good for stuff like that, but you ideally for a pack like that, you need to have a good fixed blade. Personally, I would say carry both, because you can carry a folder in your pocket, and that's not going to take any space away from your pack, and you need a good fixed blade to go to your pack. Fixed blade has got multiple uses to it, especially if you get the right blade. Not to be a brand snob, like DA said, if you go to Scallywag, they've got everything you need. But if you're just trying, Walmart has some good, decent blades that you can throw in a pack. The cold steel, I think Walmart carries those still.
Well, even the Ozark Trails will do
Ozark
the
Trails
job. And the great thing about an Ozark Trails knife is if you lose it,
yep. So
you're at $5.
The things you're wanting to look for in a good fixed blade is you're wanting something that's got a good thick spine, because if it's thin, then the chances of it breaking are a lot greater. Yeah. So you want something with a good thick spine, because if you're looking for something for a good camp knife, you can use stuff like splitting wood, and most of the time when you're doing stuff like that, you're going to be what we call batoning it. Mm-hmm. You put the wood or the knife on the wood, and you take another stick, and you're going to be beating the wood or the knife down through the. So you want a good thick spine, because if you don't have one when you're doing something like that, and your knife snaps, then chances are, if you got a knife like that, it's going to break when you're doing something even less stressful than that. But that's why I say look for a good knife with a good thick spine. Try to find something with at least stainless steel is good, but it can overstress at times, especially if it's not heat treated properly. Try to get something at least 81, any of the 81s on up. The 81 steels are pretty high carbon stuff. The two knives that I made for Doc and DA are, I believe they're 8165. I can't remember.
Those are both some heavy duty blades.
But they could take those knives and they could beat on the back of them and split wood with them and not have to worry about them breaking. They were heat treated properly. So that's some of the stuff you want to look for. That is, look for the steel. Kind of want to stay away from the Chinesium stuff, because they use the cheaper steel.
And they will snap. I've snapped more than one of those.
Mm-hmm. This is kind of like Doc said with the medical kit. You got to kind of figure out where you want to be. If you don't want to spend a whole lot of money, then yeah, you can get a cheaper knife and it can be there. But it's like my old captain at a department I worked at a long time ago said. He said that a department he worked at didn't provide them with flashlights, and this is when he was younger, and he was like, well, I'll just go out and get me a $30 flashlight. And he said his captain said, so your life's is only worth $30. and so you have to decide how much. You don't have to go to Scallywag Tactical and buy a $130 Redondo. You don't have to do that. If you want to, that's great, because that knife's going to hold up for you. You ain't going to have to worry about, it breaking or anything like that. But you have to make the decision of what's more important to you and what you want to spend on it. I'm personally not going to go spend, $10 on a knife and think that it's going to do the things that I need it to do. Because if you got a good camp knife, what was those? This one, and I think Scallywag's already discontinued them, but the little cleaver type. You remember what those are? Is the bear claw?
The dew claw.
Dew claw. Yeah. The dew claw. I've got one of those in my camp bag, and that is one of the best all-purpose camp knives that you can find, because you can use it to help prepare your food to cook with. You ain't got to worry about it split or breaking if you're using it to split wood. You can do any kind of cuts that you need to do, any kind of, you can turn around, as heavy and thick as the spine is, you can turn it around and use it as a hammer to hammer in tent stakes to the grounds. But you have to make that choice and that determination as to what you're wanting to spend versus what you're wanting to. If you're just wanting a knife that's just going to cut something, like you're going to, just cut a fishing line with it, or you're just going to cut this, you might be okay getting something. But if you're going to get something that you're going to have to depend, is in your life may depend on it, you're probably going to want to spend a little bit more money on a knife like that.
Absolutely.
Because it's not as important as a med kit, but it's right there
Yeah,
with it because
I mean, I agree because it's a tool, and something like that, a little multi-tool or something you could take with you. But fire, water, and food and shelter, and this is, and people are like, hey, this is just, you're just going out there for the day. Well, yeah, but are you really? You don't know. You could get injured. You could get socked in by bad weather. Any number of eventualities could occur, and so to be prepared for that, to go out, with honestly no less than 3 liters of fresh water and the ability to clean and make more if you can.
Yep.
And so, because you'll burn through that in a day easily,
especially on a hot day.
Especially on a hot day.
Yeah.
Or if you're
Hot day is probably quicker than a day.
Yeah, or you're up at altitude where there's lower humidity and it just sucks the moisture out of your body, man. So, I would say Robbie's, that's spot on. And again, don't skimp, man. If you get a $10 knife, expect $10 knife performance out of it. You're probably going to end up shearing a tip of it off if you have to baton it with another piece of wood. And so it's just like that. Was that Redonda?
Mm-hmm.
That you got? Yeah. And those are nice blades. They're expensive. They're more expensive, but they're nice blades. Just like my gunner's mate. I would baton the crap out of something with that, So yeah, just good stuff.
And when it comes to building a day pack or a go bag or anything, especially if you're going to be relying on it for your own safety, there's a mantra I would like you guys to commit to memory. And if you take away nothing else, commit this to memory. It's something whenever I pack a bag, it goes through my head. And whenever I'm preparing to go out, if we go out to do filming, or if we're going to take the whole gang out and go out to Moon Valley and act like dumbasses, and get chased out by something big, black, and hairy, which very much happened. But if you're going to do anything like that, I want you to commit this little line to memory, because it will save your ass. 2 is 1 and 1 is none. When it comes to survival gear, if you've only got 1, you might as well not take one, because when it goes down, you're done. That's why I take a backup for about everything. On my go bag, I've got one of those little bitty knives that we jokingly call the Doc Claymore. What's that called?
The mini jack.
I've got the mini jack stuck behind one of the molly loops on the shoulder strap. And then I've got a much bigger fixed blade actually in the pack.
Yeah, 100%.
So, and that's just with the knives. I mean, if you're going to go out someplace like that, if you're going to take a kit, make sure you've got a kit you know how to use. And when we go out, we have redundancies. Yep. Everybody's got a kit, and everybody knows who else to grab one from if they need it. So, that's one of those little safety things. Just because you've got it, it doesn't mean you know how to use it. You have to know. And just because you've got it doesn't mean you can get to it in an emergency. So 2 is 1, 1 is none. That applies to flashlights, handguns, hand grenades, and atomic bombs. 2 is 1, 1 is none.
And I mean, just same thing with a knife. If I've only got 1 knife and the tip breaks off over the spine shatters, what good is it? But if I've got a backup, got a folder that I've got in my pocket, then at least I've still got a knife.
Right.
Now, would I take my folded knife and lash it to a stick and try to make a spear point out of it? Probably not. But
probably this one you would.
Well,
this one would handle it.
But the thing is, the stress point or the where you're going to get a stress on that on the hinge, you'd have to really make sure you lashed it in the proper spot, because you don't want it, because when you stabbed it into something, that's where it's going to catch, is right there on that hinge, and that's where. So if I absolutely didn't have any other option, yes, and that would probably be one of the few ones that I would say I trust. This one would probably do it. But you like that goes back to what we said. It's the choice that you have to make of what you want to spend. If you're never going to go out and you're never going to do any of this kind of stuff, good old buck knife.
I got one just like that. My dad gave me.
Buck 110.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Can't beat it.
If you're never going to go out and you're never going to traipse around in the woods, you probably ain't got to worry about this. But if you're going to be going out and you're going to be walking around hiking, looking for stuff, or just not even going out and being idiots like the three of us do. Just going out and seeing the sights, or walking a game trail, or not a game trail, walking
Even
a
going
nature
fishing
trail
for the day.
Yeah, going fishing for the day, going up, hiking up a creek to fish for trout. You have to prepare for stuff like this because you never know what's going to happen. What was that guy's name, Doc? That was just out. I know he's rock climbing, but still, he didn't expect that boulder was going to
Oh yeah, that Aaron
fall
Ross.
down and pin his arm. He's going to have to cut through his own arm with his knife. I mean, if he hadn't had a knife, he'd be dead.
Right.
And when it comes to stuff like this, what things we're talking about right here, when it comes to that, Doc says something when he talks about his med kits, but it also applies to situations like hiking, camping, fishing, hunting, backpacking, anything you do that could feasibly be off trail, off grid, and potentially dangerous. Doc has a mantra he says all the time, and it's a great one to keep in mind. The time chooses you. You have got to be prepared for when time chooses you.
Yep.
Because it will do it when you least expect it.
Perfect example. Have you seen that new Columbia commercial?
I haven't.
Don't think I have.
Okay. It's like people think nature is this, and people out there, oh, flowers, and they're playing the music. When all reality, nature's like this, and it shows this woman going, and this snake jumping out of a bush and wrapping around her arm and biting her, and then that guy that we just talked about that got his arm pinned. He's sitting there and he's got the nub up here and he's pinned. He goes, "Oh, not again!" And it just it just shows a guy running with a lightning strike hitting the ground behind him. It just showcases that you don't know what nature's got in store for you. You never know what people go out and they think nature's just beautiful. Just like the people love to go pet the fluffy cows in Yellowstone. It's tourist eating season.
The tourist tossing season.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah.
I've got another gadget right here in my hand. I'm going to show it to y'all here in just a second. And I'm going to let Doc explain this one to us because this is an important piece of equipment that should be in every pack, whether it's a day pack, go bag, long-term camping bag. If you don't have one of these, get one and learn how to use it. And there's a lot of little accessories that can go along with this to help make the process easier. But I'm telling you, you've got to have one of these.
Oh,
Ferro rod.
Yeah. Little fire starter.
Yep.
Got one over here somewhere. I think I got one right here. Also parachute cord and a big carabiner.
And if you don't know how to use a ferro rod, you don't want to carry a ferro rod. But here's the redundancy thing. I've got a ferro rod, but I've also got this that I carry in my pack is a waterproof, and it's got, let me get it out of the light. It's got a bunch of little wooden shavings that I made, and I got a little box of matches on there. So that's my redundancy. I've got kindling, and I've got a backup. So my ferro rod, actually, I've got more than a redundancy. I've got a ferro rod, I've got this, and I've got a couple other lighters that I've got in there. So backups to backups to backups.
And there are lots of things that you can make it much easier to start a fire. If you've got Vaseline at home, I know if you got good old Vaseline, if you take some Vaseline and cotton balls and mash that Vaseline into those cotton balls and put them in a Ziploc bag like that, one of those little bastards will burn for a good long time and it'll burn pretty hot. Crayons actually make good fire starter. Sorry, Eric. I know we're
don't eat them, Eric.
There. Don't eat them. Don't eat them all. Save us a couple. If you can take a crayon and stand it in the dirt and light that sharp end of the crayon, and that thing will burn like a candle for about half an hour. They burn well, and they're great to help get fires going. Doc, what you got there?
This is a magnesium pencil sharpener that you can stick those crayons in and make shavings, or you can put branches in here and make wood shavings, and you can shave off some of this magnesium on top of it and hit that with your ferro rod, your striker, like that, and it'll cause a 4,000 degree flame or whatever, and
Magnesium burns hot.
Yeah, magnesium burns really hot, but you get these in a 3-pack on Amazon. So just stick a twig in there, and you can twist it around and make you some kindling if you need to, just to get this get these started, the fire started. And it's also got parachute cord that you can also utilize for fire starter if you needed to. So just little things like that. So fire, water, food, shelter. Like I said, I carry dryer lint with Vaseline on it. That's a great fire starter. Just keep that in a waterproof container. Like I'm dating myself, like the old 35 millimeter film containers back in the day, the Kodaks.
Oh, I got some.
Yeah.
You know what else makes surprisingly good fire starter? Doritos.
Yeah. Because they're fat. They got fat in there.
Loaded with grease.
Yeah, loaded with grease. They'll burn. Yeah, so little things like that. And you can use, obviously, fire gives you heat. It's good for signaling. It's good for boiling water. It's good for cooking your food. So it just make sure you have multiple, like Robbie and DA both said, multiple levels of redundancy there, and have a couple of them. Have some storm matches. Have a lighter, and lighters are something else to think about. At altitude, pressurized lighters might not work well at all. Like above 8,000 feet, they may just take a crap on you. That lighter I had is a plasma lighter. It's rechargeable, which leads to another thing somebody mentioned earlier. Bring a battery bank with you. I've got one that's got solar panel on there that'll fold out.
Same one.
Will charge everything.
And it also works on a hand crank. So if you need to charge your phone right now, you can plug it in and sit there and crank that thing and watch your numbers scroll up. It ain't going to scroll up fast, but you can do it.
Good old Zippo, man. Those things will work dang near anywhere. So little stuff like that. All kinds of cool stuff. And duct tape, Gorilla tape. Carry. I've got a small roll. These small rolls. I have these strategically placed in my. You
know what I used to do? I used to take Gorilla tape or duct tape and wind it round and round and round, about just however many times I felt comfortable. Wound it around a Bic lighter.
Yeah, and you can also wrap them around a card like this, like a hotel room key card or something. You can wrap around them. The Bic lighter's a good one. I've got that in one of my bags that I carry with me.
I also carry a roll of electrical tape.
Yeah.
Not just duct tape, but electrical tape. Because electrical tape, if something happens, you don't have Band-Aids or whatever, you can use electrical tape as a Band-Aid.
It works very well.
That's an old electrician's trick. I've used that many times.
Yeah.
I've used super glue a number of times, and I don't recommend it. Sucks,
no, it hurts
but it
like
works.
hell, but it works.
It's like you just welded your skin back together.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Chemically welded. That's exactly.
It does suck, but it will work.
But that's what super glue was actually designed for. It was not designed for what it's used for nowadays. When it was actually first made, that's what it was made for.
Mm-hmm. It was originally for surgical applications. And going along with what Robbie was saying about carrying a good knife, if you prefer to carry like a belt axe or a hatchet, one of the things that you should always do if you're going to go through an area, and even if you know the area, sometimes weather can turn, like fog can roll in and you can lose your way. Mark your trail. Pick like every 10, 20 yards. Just knock a chip out of that tree with a hatchet or with your knife. Carve something you're going to recognize. But if you really want to get high tech about it, get like some of those little glow in the dark. If you can get glow in the dark push pins, and just put one in the tree, and you hit that with your flashlight, and that'll flare up, and you can follow your trail in pitch black right back the way you came.
They sell them at Walmart, and they sell them in all like Cabela's and places like that. They're called bright eyes.
And periodically look behind you. So you can see your return route from that perspective.
Absolutely. Trying to think what I would throw in a pack next. Phones will fail you. Electronics will fail you. If you've got a good GPS, that's probably a good GPS, and maybe like a panic button where you can hit it if you're in trouble. Those are great, but technology will fail you. A good topographical map of the area and a good lensatic compass and learning how to use it. There are YouTube channels that have lessons to teach you how to use a lensatic compass. It's not hard. You can get these lensatic compasses at any Army surplus, or generally for under $20 on Amazon, you can get one. It doesn't have to be, the top of the line $20,000 freaking compass. It's like the old joke that a $20 watch and a $2,000 watch both tell the same time.
Yep.
I think this was maybe $7-8.
Having a compass and knowing how to use it it can save your life. It absolutely can. So, for example, if you're going to go hike, let's just say the Mark Twain National Forest, or you're going to go down to Busick State Park and hike the trail loop at Busick, there are resources online where you can go on and print a topographical map of the area. You can do that, or you can go by your neighborhood conservation office. Any conservation office in your state will have topographical maps. You might have to pay a few bucks for it, but you will have a currently accurate topographical map of the area you're going to be, and then you just take your compass and you mark your trail.
And also on your compasses, make sure the grid reference system is the same, because you have military grid reference system, you have the universal reference system, UTM maps, and also make sure that your maps, they're in could be like a 1 to 1,000 scale, or a 1 to 100,000 scale, 1 to 10,000 scale, whatever it is. Make sure that your compass that you carry matches the scale of it when you're shooting an azimuth and doing lines. That will literally make the difference in being where you need to be. So make sure your map has the same scale as your compass and vice versa.
Because if you're using one and on your compass and the map's different, that was it like 20 or 30 miles that can bring you off, Doc?
It's huge.
Yeah.
So just make sure you have the maps the scale of the maps correspond to the scale and the grid reference system, the GRS, the grid reference system of your compass.
Now, a GPS is great. You can even get GPS on your phone. There are some phone carriers that are now offering Starlink on their cell phone coverage, so you'll have uplink wherever you're at. But cell phones die, batteries die, and sometimes technology will fail you. So have a redundancy. Have a non-electronic backup plan.
Yeah, I can do satellite with this if I've got the line of sight. And remember that too. These devices that rely on satellite rely on good line of sight, which means you got to be in a clear area. So if you're under canopy, you might not get a good signal if one at all. So like if this one shows satellite, I can text message via satellite with this thing and still give my position.
But that's stuff like that's where dead reckoning and understanding how to read the lay of the land, knowing what saddles and ridges and things like that are, because if you know how to do that, and you can, just simple things of knowing which side of the tree the moss is going to grow on. If you find water, knowing to follow water, because water is always going to lead you where you need to go.
Yeah. So
just little things like that are what you need to think about. Because like we're saying, this is worst case scenario. You've gone out and something's happened and you've got turned around, or you're lost and you're trying to figure out how to get yourself back to where you need to go. These are the kind of things that are going to get you back to civilization. If you're stumbling around in the woods and you find a creek, follow that creek, follow the way that water's flowing, because water's going to flow towards where you need to go.
Kelly Marie said, DA, how would you deal with a situation if you're lost in dealing with an energy force that would throw your compass out of whack? That can happen. There are places, if there's a lot of iron ore in the rock, it'll throw your compass off. There are a lot of things in nature that will mess up a compass, and it just does happen. In cases like that, when you cannot get a true north bearing, start using, and I'm not saying always check the north side of the tree for the moss. That's a wives' tale. Moss grows where moss grows. But the fact of the matter is, you can tell from the position of the sun. If it's evening time, you know which way west is. If it's morning time, you know which way east is. If it's straight over you, just wait a few minutes and see which direction it goes. If once you've established, east and west, north and south are easy, and you look at that map, and you could start looking for landmarks on that map that'll tell you, okay, in a mile there's a stream that crosses through. If a mile north of here, if I go straight north and find that stream, then I can follow that stream down to the parking lot, or I can follow that stream down to this road crossing. So make sure you know your landmarks. If you've got a situation like that where you cannot use a compass and your phone's not working, use landmarks that you can find on the map and follow those to places that that are clearly marked.
Yep.
That was a good question.
That was a great question. And and something else you could put in your bag, like they said, extra socks. Yes. Some small are big enough to cover you up. Some small, lightweight, emergency portable shelter, a rain jacket, things
Poncho.
like that. Yeah, a poncho, something. Yeah, anything like that is going to help protect you from the elements. Some sort of food. If you're only going out for a day, do you want to carry just a day's worth of food, or do you want to carry a couple days worth of food?
Yeah. Even if it's something simple like a couple of energy bars.
Yes.
Here's a little tip for you that a lot of people overlook. You gotta understand that that you're out in nature. You can run into inclement weather, and rain or snow are not going to be your friends. If you're carrying a bag, no matter what size it is, go to the sporting goods section at Walmart or any sporting goods store and get a dry bag. Put that in your pack, and when you load the pack, roll that dry bag down and seal it before you seal the pack. That way, even if you're in a torrential downpour, everything in that bag stays dry.
Yep.
Dry bags are cheap, and they are worth their weight in gold.
And that's where the extra socks come in, and all of that stuff. And like Jeff Milkman, I carry an emergency tent. Absolutely, you can buy these little emergency shelters from Survive Outdoors Longer, SOL. And they have some good stuff. There's even emergency blanket. This is the large. This is the size large. This is a heavy duty green and silver 2.5 mil. This is from Solkoa, SOLKOA. I don't get kickbacks from these dudes. These are just good dudes that make some good kit. So yeah, make good stuff. So that's a Mylar blanket that's polyethylene backed, and so it's thick and give you some decent protection from elements, and you can wrap yourself up in it if you need to.
And here's something: if you're a fan of the Wild Hunt books, pack a whoopee.
Amen to that, dude.
Because not only are they lightweight and will keep you very warm, they have like a synthetic fleece lining that is very compactable. You can fold one up and then just slowly work your hands rolling that thing up, pushing the air out of it, and that son of a gun, which is a blanket big enough to wrap yourself up in, can be shoved down into something as small as a freaking flashlight holder.
Yeah, you can pack those things down to get your little stuff sack and pack them down in the stuff sack, because you're never gonna. You're like, this pack weighs 15 pounds. That's actually not that bad. If you can 15 to 20 pounds, that's not bad. And I would rather have that little bit of extra weight than worrying about crap. I shouldn't have left that at home. What is a whoopee? Well, a whoopee is a poncho liner. We call it
in Jarhead speak. It's a poncho liner.
Poncho liner, Maureen.
Yeah, it's like a quilt. It's like a polyfill quilted blanket. That's all it is. That it's got little ties that tie into grommet points in your inside.
And I have had a good night's sleep under a whoopee many a time.
Yeah. And they're great to have. So anything that can give you, remember, fire, water, food, shelter, directional stuff, medical. If you're going to have lighting.
Was it me or you guys?
Who
froze up? Was it me or you guys?
Can't hear you now. Robbie. Did you lose him?
Yeah, I couldn't hear him either.
Can't hear me at all?
No,
there you're back.
he's back.
Now you're
Okay.
back.
My computer's acting crazy tonight.
Yeah. But look, those little things like that just to make your life easier. And the flashlights, make sure you have enough batteries. And if you got a rechargeable
And if
flashlight,
nowhere is 2 is 1 and 1 is none more important than when dealing with flashlights.
yes.
I have 4 flashlights on my desk. In my Daypack, I have 3. One of them hand crank powered.
Yeah, those are great. Anything like that that can help. And weigh this stuff out and find the smaller, more durable stuff that you can put in there that's not going to weigh you down. So yeah, the life straws are not heavy.
They
The
don't weigh
micro
nothing at
pure
all.
tablets are not heavy. All this stuff is pretty lightweight stuff. But be prepared. Be prepared for that eventuality where you may have to spend 2 or 3 days out there, or that bad weather does roll in. Because man, people die from exposure in the summertime up in the mountains of New Hampshire, the mountains of Colorado, the mountains of everywhere in the United States, just because they go above timberline and they get hit by inclement weather and they end up dying from hypothermia in the middle of the summer. So that's all I got to say about that.
But don't underestimate how valuable having something like a dry pair of socks if you've gotten soaked. Never underestimate how good that is. You got to protect your dogs.
Yeah.
How many soldiers in World War II you think getting dry socks at a time, especially like places like Bastogne and places like that, where how many lives did that save when sometimes they got stuff like that?
I don't know. I know in World War One, the freaking
trench foot,
they were. I remember hearing these crazy numbers. Like the British troops got hit hard. It was like over 70,000 British troops died in World War One just from freaking trench foot, and it wasn't that many. I think it was a couple of thousand of American soldiers that died from trench foot in World War One. But
still, one's too many. Geez,
bro, I know.
Yeah.
And so
that's completely preventable.
Yeah, absolutely preventable. Good foot care. I mean,
what we used to do down in New Mexico in the winter when the snow would drift up high? We would put on a thick pair of socks and put a bread sack on over the sock and then put our boot on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anything to keep your feet dry, man. And if you're out hiking, okay, great. You got Gore-Tex boots. That's awesome. Make sure you have some good socks. Like I use merino wool socks, and because even wool, it's gonna have some wicking, but even if it's wet, it still is insulative. But Gore-Tex boots, Gore-Tex footwear are going to cause your feet to freaking sweat big time. So throw some foot powder on in those socks before you put them on, and take frequent breaks every couple of hours just to take your feet out of your boots, because your feet are going to get hot and sweaty, and that's going to lead to friction. That's going to lead to hot spots. That can lead to blisters. So you don't want that, man. And so change out, and then every couple of hours, if you're by the time one pair is dry, the other pair can be dry, and you can just flip-flop your socks out. Don't wear wet socks is what I'm trying to say.
Exactly.
So don't wear wet socks.
And if you have a chance of running into a dog man, maybe packing a clean pair of underwear wouldn't be a bad idea.
Absolutely. Yeah. Jeff Milkman, I prefer uninsulated boots. And some people have the uninsulated, non-waterproof, and they just have like waterproof socks that if you're going to be crossing the stream or whatever, just throw those suckers on over your regular socks.
If you're going to go hiking in the woods in Missouri, you're going to cross the stream.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Going to happen.
There's so much water there. So if you can just wear your Gore-Tex socks or those waterproof socks, man, the seal skins or whatever they are. And
there's something new out now. And I saw Forrest Gallant, so I can't remember the name because it's fairly new, but they're alpaca, but they're thermoregulating. So you can wear these socks in like 100-degree weather or negative 40-degree weather, and they're going to thermoregulate. So it's not like it's going to stop, like you were talking about the sweating problem.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the name of him. I just saw it the other day on their show, and he gave everybody in his show a pair of these. They got like boot cut, they got ankle cut, all this kind of stuff. And Forrest said he wore them I think it was in Argentina where he said, it was like in the morning time, it was like, 30 or 40 degrees. And then by the afternoon, it was up to like 90 or 100. And he said he wore the same socks all day and never had a problem with it because they thermoregulated.
Yeah.
Kept his feet dry, kept his feet warm, kept his feet cool.
That's the way my merino wool socks are.
Yep.
I've got the cat eye, and
I would assume alpaca would be the same as wool. So.
It's great. Yeah, and this was the ones I have. They have moisture wicking and everything. It was 126 degrees in Phoenix, Arizona, and I was wearing them, and my feet weren't. And even when I was walking outside and at that place where I was teaching, it wasn't that bad. So yeah, I love stuff like that, and it's natural fiber. So
one of the best pair of waterproof boots I ever owned was a pair of Danner cold weather.
I was gonna say Danner are fantastic. We got issued Danners before our unit went to Bosnia.
I've resold those Danners twice.
Yeah, same. I've still got my Danners that I deployed.
Yeah, mine out in the garage.
Yeah,
it doesn't normally get that cold around here to need them, but yeah, I've still got them.
Yeah, I mean, good footwear, man. Like the Schnee boots, SCHNEE. Yeah, people are like, oh man, those things are $350. Yeah, because they're worth it. And so they're fantastic boots. But I don't have any of them. But they're great boots. But yeah, good footwear. A little lightweight pair of gloves, anything like that. Especially if you're going to be going out during this time of year in the late fall, early parts of winter. Make sure you got enough gear to plan on spending the night, and you got something to keep you warm, man. That's big.
And if you're going to pack something to have that's easy to carry, don't take stuff like candy bars because that's a quick sugar crash. Yeah. Take like a protein bar that's high in carbohydrates and high in protein. They're not the best tasting things on the world, but they keep forever. And you eat one of those and you've hit most of your calories for the day.
Yep, absolutely. But Miss Lene, what about toilet paper and moist towelettes? 100%, because nature's going to nature, and you want to make sure you're clean. So 100%. Those dude wipes, don't carry the whole bag because they're pretty heavy. But you
put
can
some in a Ziploc.
Put them in a Ziploc, man, and you got enough. Yeah, Jeff, I was going to say the same thing. Beef jerky, it give you some salt, give you some protein, give you something to chew on, and beef jerky. Those clean protein bars are really good. So yeah, man, down in West Texas, you don't need Northwoods. Yeah, you don't need cold weather gear much in the way of cold weather gear in West Texas, but I definitely need your big things protection from the sun.
You want something snake proof in West Texas.
Yeah, and snake chaps, snake boots, those things like that.
I think when it comes to like protein bars and power bars, I really like the Cliff bars.
Yeah, I mean,
I like those.
Whatever works, and also try to look at the amount of simple sugars you have in there, stuff like that. But yeah, dude, you can. Like out here in Colorado, if I'm having to wear any technical gear for wintertime, I was looking at this comment from Roxanne. I like to have like a down jacket as my mid layer, and then a Gore-Tex jacket over that, just to waterproof it, and that's pretty good. But yeah, man, electrolytes. That's another good one. Hillary's talking about that. I use
Gatorade makes those little single-use foil packs. You just tear it open, pour it in your water, shake it up, and there's your electrolytes. And it's just a little Gatorade travel pack. And they sell those at Walmart for pretty cheap.
Oh, you can get that. They've got those hydration things now that they make that you can put in water that's specifically for that stuff. That
the fat electrician was talking about something that he tried the other day. I can't remember what the brand was.
Yeah, Element.
That's what it was. Element. Yeah, that was what he was talking about those the other day. And he said he doesn't leave home without some in his pack.
These things are awesome, and one little packet goes into a liter of water, and delicious. This is citrus salt. So yeah, man, I swear by this stuff. It is fantastic. So anything like that, and it again doesn't weigh a whole lot, and also it encourages you. If you pour it in your Camelback, just make sure you clean your Camelback out. But it it should not make it taste like that, especially the newer ones, or your water bottles like this one. It doesn't make this bottle keep that scent.
If you're going to get a plastic water bottle, make sure it's made out of something called Nalgene. Nalgene does not have all the BPs in it. That it doesn't have all the bad crap in it that you can get as plastic starts to break down.
Yeah.
A good Nalgene bottle, absolutely.
Yeah, this is BPA free, and also the element stuff and the electrolytes. It encourages you to drink, and if you're out there in the woods, hydrating, 1 water to equal parts electrolyte, and alternate. That way, you have the amount of electrolytes you need. Hillary, this element's this has got salt in it. It's got 1,000 milligrams of sodium in it. So, this stuff, if you're on a low sodium diet for kidneys or blood pressure or anything like that, make sure you know what you're taking, because this can probably put you over your allowance if you have congestive heart failure or anything like that. Be aware of your sodium level.
This is made by Camelback. It's one of those Nalgene bottles. This is the one I generally throw in my Daypack. Plus, I've got a life straw in there if I ever needed it. But there's something on here that is a good mantra to have when you're out in the woods.
Hydrate or die. No, that's true. That's true.
Hydrate or die.
Yeah, I mean, make sure you have enough stuff. What do y'all, Robbie? Do you carry a little? I mentioned it earlier. Do you carry a little multi-tool or something like that with you, like with a saw on it or something?
Yeah, I've got not in this because I carry 2 bags in my truck always. In my bigger bag, I've got one of those little folding crosscut saws. And I mean, I'm kind of the outlier when we talk about blades, because in the other pack, I've got my boarding axe, I've got that crosscut saw, I've got my gunner's mate, and I've got a couple more folders. So I've got probably more blades than most people carry, but that's just me because I'm weird.
Doc, you remember back in the day when the military used to issue those black Gerber multi-tools?
Oh, I still got mine.
I've still got mine too. It's what's on my Daypack.
Yeah, I've still got my issue.
The one you take and snap your wrist and it locks open.
Yeah, I've still got my issue multi-tools, man. But
I've got a multi-tool on every bag I take.
That's something to me. It's an invaluable piece of little kit to have, because you can do so much for that thing. And that's what I mean. These are just things that we're talking about, folks. That these are just suggestions, and you can pair and tailor your bag to, like Northwoods. He's in West Texas. He doesn't have to worry about a whole lot of stuff. I mean, a Mylar blanket might still be nice, because in the wintertime it does get cool out there.
Well, even out on those prairies, it gets pretty cold at night.
Yeah, I mean, El Paso's at like 4,500 feet elevation in some areas, and so
this is how many Mylar blankets I've got. There's like four blankets in each one of these packs. I've got 8 Mylar blankets right here.
Yeah, I mean, make sure you have that kind of stuff. It doesn't take up a whole lot of space.
Exactly. Look,
and you're not going to miss it. Right. You're not going to miss it unless you need it and you don't have it with you. Then you're definitely going to miss it. So,
and they weigh nothing.
No, exactly.
That bundle Robbie's got right there, what would you say that weighs?
A
few ounces.
I'd say 2 ounces, 3 ounces.
If even that. I mean, literally nothing. I mean,
and there's a lot of uses for those Mylar blankets.
Oh, absolutely, man.
You can line a sleeping bag with one if we're in really cold weather sleeping. You can use it as an emergency poncho to keep around you, to keep you warm and keep you dry. You can make a shelter out of one if necessary. You got to be careful because they tear pretty easy. You can also cut them into strips and put them on your ghillie suit, and it will throw thermal for a loop.
But you can also use them to signal for help.
Yeah.
But there's a way, if you say you find yourself a shelter and you, like a little dugout of the bottom of a hill or whatever, and it's just like a little undercut. You can take that poncho and you can put it at the back of of the bank, the little cutout. You build your fire in front of you. Put your sleeping bag in between the fire and that Mylar blanket.
Reflects it right back.
Where it reflects the heat back, and you will be sweating your tail off before you wake up in the morning.
Yeah, it's amazing how
boys.
things
I
are.
need to step away. My diuretic is kicking in. I will be
worries.
right back.
No worries.
I'm going to mute my mic.
Yeah, we're gonna keep talking. Yeah, I mean those people don't realize just how effective a little Mylar blanket is, and it's so simple and so effective.
And they're like nothing when it comes to cost. I think those 8 blankets cost me $2.
Right. Yeah, they're not extremely expensive either.
Thank you, Ventus.
Ventus, thank you, man. Wow. Drinking electrolytes is super important. I had a friend who almost died, lost a lot of the muscle in his left leg because he was hiking around on a Powerade, so he drank straight water. Had almost no potassium in his system. Yeah, man, people can end up getting some deep in the hurt locker with no electrolytes. Yeah. So
and you know, Doc, I think that's a lot of people don't realize that it could. I go back to that commercial, that Columbia commercial. People just they don't realize how quick nature can turn on you.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, literally in the middle of the summer, up in the mountains here in Colorado, you can get freak snowstorms roll in because those up there above timberline. When I say above timberline, that's above the level of where timber stops growing. I'm not trying to be condescending. Some people may not know what timberline is. And so that's where you just have scrub, you know, you don't have any big trees or anything. So usually about 11.5, but you get up there, man, you're going to have a freak weather storms that roll in, and they hit you quick.
And it could be 90 degrees down in the lower part of the,
absolutely.
And up there is below freezing.
Yeah, absolutely. But Roxanne, no, I didn't see your question, sugar. I'm sorry. And Miss Lene, they're called Element, LMNT. I'll hold them up there just for a second. LMNT. Yeah, we were just reading that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the super chat, Ventus.
Yeah.
Here's Roxanne's question, Doc. This is a weird question. Some people have dentures. What do you suggest for them?
Who?
That was Roxanne's question that she said.
Some people have what?
Some people have dentures. What do you suggest for them?
Dentures?
Mm-hmm.
In regards to what? What do I suggest for them for what?
Roxanne, do you want to expound on that? Because that was what the question said. Said some people have dentures. What do you suggest for them? I would assume that what we were talking about with.
Would y'all see Harold's comment? DA, just put it up.
I'll put it back up.
Yeah, put it back up. I didn't see it. I was making sure I didn't miss part of Roxanne's question.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking. That's one of the ones I was talking about. So yeah,
I think Roxanne may be referring to like maintenance of dentures, like taking them out and cleaning them, that kind of thing. I personally, I don't have dentures, but if I'm going to be out there and I'm going to get stuck overnight, I'll just leave them in.
Yeah, went out hiking or camping, went out. Yeah, I mean, if they're out, make sure you have some sort of container to put them in with the necessary cleaning solution, all that kind of good stuff. Make sure you have extra adhesive, whatever kind you utilize. Make sure you have that with in there with you, and it's that way you can properly maintain them. Any kind of and brushes. You know, if you don't have to carry a full size toothbrush, you can take a toothbrush and cut half the handle off and still have a toothbrush.
They make little travel ones that are contained, and you pull it out of the plastic, brush your teeth, stuck it back up in that little container. Keeps it clean and keeps crap from getting all over it.
Yep, that's what I would do. And there's all kinds of different size cases that you can use to put them in, little Pelican cases. They have Pelican cases. I got a Pelican case about this big. It's got a weather alert radio in there, a little shortwave radio, and so watertight, airtight, and that way you keep everything secure. doesn't add a whole lot of weight. That's the big thing you got to look for, guys. Is if you see, I mean, you could throw everything. We're talking about a lot of stuff, and again, this is tailored for you and what you do. I mean, you could end up throwing everything in the kitchen sink in there, and, and make it like a mile in and go, well, this sucks. This pack is way too heavy.
Yeah,
it does happen.
And you have to get, like Doc is saying, you've got to customize it to bear in mind where you're at. For example, Northwood's talking about being in West Texas. His survival requirements are going to be totally different than someone, say, in Alberta, Canada.
Right. I'll be right back, guys.
Okay. The hydration is also something. Can't stress that one enough. If you don't hydrate, you're gonna die. You've got to hydrate. They used to say that you could survive 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. The rule of three.
Yep.
They say there's another one. They say three minutes without shelter and under extreme circumstances, but I usually don't quote that one because it doesn't always apply unless you live someplace like northern Alaska. But it can happen here in the lower 48 too if you get caught in the wintertime. But it's called the rule of three, and it's worth committing to memory.
And before you came back, that's what Doc and I were talking about. I think a lot of the reason is people just don't realize how quick things can change on them. They go out, oh, this is cool, this is crazy, this is so beautiful, and next thing you know, like that's what he was talking about. You get above timber, it could be 90 degrees down down around below the timber line, and you get above timber line, and all of a sudden it's below freezing.
Yeah. And that can happen. You can have a temperature change very rapid like that.
Yeah.
Another thing, and this doesn't necessarily apply to the bag itself, but this applies to you anytime you're going out to do something. Whether you're planning to go out for a week camping trip looking for Bigfoot, if you're going overnight to try to get pictures of a spotted owl, if you're just going to hike your favorite trail for the afternoon. Every time, doesn't matter where you're going, doesn't matter when you're going or how long you're going to be gone, you need to let somebody know who's not going to be with you, be it a park ranger, being it somebody that family member, loved one, something like that. Let them know where you're going and when you're supposed to return. That way, if something happens and you can't make it back, they know when to start looking for you.
I mean, yeah, there's been times I've gone places here in South Carolina, and I've called these two and said, "Hey, I'm going here or whatever, and I'm supposed to be back at this time." Not that they could come help me, but at least they know that, hey, if he's not back,
call your daughter,
and they could call Kevin or Taylor and say, "Hey, I hadn't heard from your dad. He was supposed to be back.
That's right.
He was going here, and whatever." And so they've got all that information. So, like I said, they might not have come got me, but they know who to call and get the things rolling. So it doesn't have to be somebody that's right next door to you. It could be somebody that's 12 hours away. I hate
12
that.
hours
I can't
away.
Right away. 12 hours away, or what?
20 hours. He's about 10 hours from me.
Yeah.
Just a guy says, I personally wouldn't trust a park ranger so much. DA, no offense, none taken. I'm not a park ranger, but a lot of places where you go, especially in national parks, if you're going to go for a hike or you're camping or anything like that, you have to sign in at the ranger station and put your expected return time. And that is a great way that someone knows where you're going when you're supposed to be back. I wouldn't simply trust that because maybe the ranger that was supposed to be there the night you're coming back called in sick. I'm not going to trust my life to a complete stranger in a logbook. You can still log in, write your times down, but text all that information to your mother, your sister, your brother, your grandma, somebody that's going to have that information and go, oh, look, it's 10 o'clock. You should have been back an hour ago, and start the ball rolling.
Depending on how in depth you want to get, I heard one person, they actually took an impression of the shoes that they were wearing and left that in the vehicle. That way, if something happened, search crews would know. Okay, this is the shoe pattern we're looking for right here. Here it is, because there was a note on it. these are the hiking boots that I'm wearing.
Another great thing you can do if you're going to go to that level, and that's a great idea. I mean, if you've got boots on, just take a piece of blank paper, step into some dirt, then step on that piece of paper. That'll transfer your track to that piece of paper. But if you're going to do that, another great thing would be take it like an old T-shirt and rub it all over you so it's got your scent and leave it with it. Because if they got to bring in tracking dogs, they got a scent to start tracking from.
Yep. Just make sure if you're going to go to all that trouble, make sure you let somebody leave a note saying, "Hey, I'm going here, 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 and here, just in case something happens. Here's an impression, or here's the boot prints that I'm wearing. This shirt has my scent on it. If you're bringing dogs in, let them know what it is, so they don't just, if they're looking in your car and oh well, this guy's messy. He just left a shirt laying here and he stepped all over it." Let them know, because not everybody that you're dealing with has the common sense to look at that and say, "Oh, look how smart he was. He left this." They're gonna be like, "What in the world? He stepped on this piece of paper," and throw it over their shoulder because they don't know what you're. Make sure you let them know, because like I said, not everybody has the common sense that God gave a turnip sometimes.
And
Did I
Harold,
say that out loud, Doc?
yeah, I get it, man. But Harold, you're talking about learning CPR. I get that too. But if Doc's going to be anywhere near y'all, take one of Doc's classes together, because you know exactly why. I mean, the life you save probably will be your own.
Amen.
Day packs are not meant to be all inclusive. They're not meant to cover every situation under the sun. They're just meant to cover the basics and be in one easily carryable, transportable bag that's comfortable to carry. It's not designed to protect you from the odd chance you might get attacked by a Kodiak bear, even though you're in Arkansas. It's not designed for every situation, but it's designed specifically on purpose to give you short-term survivability in case of something bad should happen when you're not going to make it back when you thought you were going to. Just simply having the "I'm going to survive" mindset is the great first step. Don't just get out there and go, "Oh, rolled my ankle. Guess I'm going to lay here and die." No, if you get to have that prepared mindset, Milkman said it: proper planning prevents piss poor performance. They drilled that into our head in the military, and it applies to literally everything you do. If you're going to go into a situation like that, you might have to stay the night. Not because you want to, because you roll an ankle, you get lost on the trail, any number of factors. Bad weather rolls in. There's a lot of factors that can make it turn a day an afternoon hike into a 2 or 3 day ordeal. Having a day pack that is well planned and well prepared can mean the difference between search and rescue finding you or search and rescue finding your corpse.
What was that? It was said, DA. Whether you think you can't or you think you can, either way, you're right.
I like that. I like that.
If you think you can't survive, if you think you can't survive, you're probably right.
Exactly. I'm old and stove up, but I'm going to go down swinging. I'm not. There's ain't an ounce of quit in my body, and I may be old and busted, but if push comes to shove, I'm going to do literally everything under the sun that I can possibly do to make sure me and my loved ones are safe and survive the situation. Yep. And the great thing about a day pack like that is you can prepare one for a group. You can get a larger bag and prepare enough survival material for your whole family. You put four people's worth of food, water, basic shelter, things like that in a pack, and leave it in the trunk of your car. If you ever have a flat tire out on a lonely stretch of highway where you ain't seen another car in hours, and you got to spend the night in the pouring rain in a butt crack of nowhere, that kit is going to be worth its weight in gold to you.
Amen.
If your family goes fishing and that favorite fishing spot is 4 miles up a back trail, up an old logging trail that's where the steelhead are biting. So that's where we're going. Nobody knows exactly where it is but me, because that's my favorite fishing spot in the world, and I'm not telling anybody. You get up to a place like that, and you're going to thank God you had one of those packs, because it doesn't take but a flat tire, and you're stuck.
Yep.
Yes, Northwoods, I have all 3 air crew survival school. Yeah, it's one of those things, and like DA said, plan for your AO, your area of operations. Something that a friend of mine would talk about in one of his classes was take a picture of yourself wearing the clothing, the gear, and everything at the trailhead or whatever, and then send that to multiple people with the GPS coordinates, because that's as good as it gets right there. And if you don't know your GPS coordinates, take a screen, get an app. There's an app called Compass on my phone, and it tells me my GPS location, my bearing, I'm headed, where I am, elevation. Just take a screenshot and send it to somebody, and that way they know where you were at this time, and that way they have an idea.
I'm pretty sure Base Map and OnX both do that too.
I think so.
We'll give you your GPS coordinates.
Yeah, man. It's definitely something to be prepared. Oh, and something else. We didn't talk about this. We're signaling. If somebody does come looking for you, a little signal mirror is literally that big, super easy to utilize. You can watch quick YouTube videos on there. A signal mirror, fire, light sticks, anything like that. So,
yep.
I remember Greenwood produces lots of smoke.
Smoke.
Yeah, Greenwood.
And if the wood you find isn't enough, wait till you got a fire crackling and throw a handful of moss on that son of a gun. That's going to smoke.
It'll smoke. So that'll help. But don't create a forest fire while you're trying to get rescued.
Exactly.
Just be a dick move.
Smokey the Bear would not approve.
Exactly. He would send Smokey the Wendigo at you or something. I don't know. Smokey the Squatch.
You and your snowmobile.
Right. Exactly.
Yep.
Damn it.
There was something else I was wanting to mention.
Make sure you cover your tailpipe.
Facts.
There was something else fairly important. Oh, yeah. This is a great little addition you can throw in any pack, be it a day pack, long-term pack, bug out bag. Go to Walmart, go back to the sporting goods section, and they make little emergency fishing kits about yay big, not much wider or wider than a credit card. They're literally about the size of a sandwich. They've got a couple bobbers in there, 4 or 5 8 hooks. It's got a little bit of fishing line. You can stretch that fishing line out, tie it on the end of a stick. It's a full-blown emergency fishing kit. You can dig a few worms, but that little kit can feed you when you've got nothing else. That's just an easy little thing, and that's where the falling back to the knife. If you catch a fish, unless you like what they call branzino, where you just cook the whole damn thing over the fire, which does not appeal to me in any way, shape, or form. You want to be able to fillet that thing out and get the guts out of it. So a good sharp knife is a must. But ain't nothing wrong with a little freshly caught pan fried trout.
That's for sure.
Yep.
That is for sure. Yeah, Jeff. Yeah, flares if you have room. Yeah. No, I mean that's. I mean there are some lightweight flares that you can get. Survival flares, signal flares.
A signal whistle. Hang on, just put it on a piece of cord and put it on your pack strap.
Yep.
Well, you can even buy those little battery powered road flares that are about that big. You can buy those, and You can put one. It's like a hockey size of a hockey puck.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, you can put that in your bag, and those things are bright as all get out. I mean, you could throw one of those in your pack, and you could, especially at night, if a plane or a chopper is going over looking for you, you set that thing out and set it on strobe. They're probably going to see it at night.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, any of that stuff's that's all good, really good ideas.
Yeah, it's thinking outside the box. That might not be something that most people think of to use something like that, but you can get them pretty cheap.
Yeah, and make sure you're go out with it. Go out with it before you pack all this stuff in there and you go, oh man, that thing's I got room. I can put one more thing. You know what I mean? So just whenever you're gonna go hiking with it, throw it in there and throw it on your back and go for a little walk with it just to see if there's any hot spots that develop on your shoulder straps. If there's any discomfort anywhere, just make sure you don't overpack it and get too much weight in there.
Yeah.
And if you watch some of these YouTube survival channels, they'll tell you this gear bag is the perfect gear bag and this is the one you should get. Throw all of that crap out the window. They're either got a paid sponsorship or they've got they're trying to sell you something from a company they probably own. The perfect go bag that you can carry is the one that's comfortable and the one that's set up for your personal needs. Things that I might carry might be a little different than Doc would carry because I take some pretty heavy medications that I've got to take every day. I'll pack my meds, and I'm a lot bigger guy than Doc, so me getting comfortable somewhere is a lot harder than Doc finding a place to comfortable to lay down because I'm a large fella. That's why one of the things I keep in my pack is a couple of heavy duty D-rings and a little bitty hammock.
Yep, those are also great to have. Keeps you up off the ground, and if you throw a poncho over you, then you're solid. If you're going somewhere during the time of year where there's a little buttload of mosquitoes, throw a little mosquito netting in there, man. That stuff is super lightweight, even if it's the face covering to keep you from getting tagged. So that's huge, man. So that's a great segue too. We can talk about protection because something that not every forest area lets you carry something that uses powder and turns into smoke. So a good bear spray, bear deterrent, something like that is always good to have. Something sharp and pokey. We talked about that, but just other protection. Check your local laws, and I'm going to say that because this is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Check your local laws before you go pack anything.
I'll tell you one thing that is not banned in any park I've ever seen, and that's a good heavy duty walking stick.
Nope. Yep.
Yeah, unless you got the privilege of carrying one of those cards in your wallet like I do, check your local laws, like Doc said.
Yeah, check your local laws, man, because ignorance is no excuse. And so make sure heavy duty walking stick, hiking canes that have the little stabby pokey things on the end of them. Those are solid too. If you're going in, get your bug juice, pack your bug juice, mosquito coils, whatever you need to take with you.
They make citronella soap now.
Yep.
If you're going to be out in the woods, you take a shower, wash with that citronella soap.
Yep.
That stuff is awesome.
These are the things that'll help make your life a lot easier. For the med stuff, I forgot to say this. Let's say you're out there, you're only out there for a day, and all of a sudden you get some gastrointestinal distress to keep yourself from getting dehydrated, carry some antidiarrheal tablets too, like some Imodium or something like that, or Imodium. I was thinking Lamodal, but Imodium is a good one to keep out there. We use Pepto-Bismol tablets, something like that. Things to think about. So
things that make you go,
Yeah. Other protective stuff. Well, we've already covered that a good bit, so no need to beat that horse. Just, again, be prepared. Test your gear out before you go out, because otherwise you're going to look like a freaking walking yard sale. You're going to be leaving crap all over the place. And know where your stuff is. have it organized, have it labeled, whatever, and just have a systematic packing method to make sure you have everything there. So yeah, like Jeff said, I was just talking about the bear spray, things like that. So yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's a good one, Harold. Make sure you test your bear spray a quick squirt to make sure the gas hasn't evaporated or you've had loss of pressure. And please, for the love of all that's good and holy, do it where you're upwind. Make sure.
And if you get any on your hands, wash thoroughly before you touch your face or any other sensitive areas.
Yes.
I have seen people make that mistake.
Yeah, it's not good. When I used to run the gas chamber at officer training school for our confidence, they called it the confidence chamber. Anyway, we would tell those students in the middle of the summer there in Alabama, please, before you go to the bathroom, wash your hands. You've just left this chamber. This is pepper. This is pepper based. Some of them didn't do it, and you'd see them starting to squirm in formation. You knew exactly what had happened. So.
One thing I learned all the times I've been sprayed as an officer, most pepper spray, well, actually, I think all pepper spray is oil based. The capsicum oil is what it's based from. If you get back spray, or if you, God forbid, you should get sprayed, when you go to take that off, use Dawn dishwashing liquid. It breaks up oil. Just take it, put it straight in your hands, and rub it all over the exposed areas. Let it set for a minute or two, then start washing it off with a cool water and slow pressure. You don't want to spray yourself hard because that's going to hurt like hell. Yep. But you put that Dawn on there and repeat if you need to. But that Dawn starts breaking that oil up, and it'll draw it out of your pores. That's one of the best things I've ever recovered from being OC'd. That's a little trick that, from an old cop. That is one of the best things you can do to decontaminate yourself.
It also works well with poison oak, poison ivy, poison sumac oils as well. It'll help break that crap down because you don't want to have that, on you, especially if you're out in the woods. And what was the other thing I was going to say about the? Oh yeah, you could take some stuff called Technu or Zanfel, Zanfel. Those are also poison ivy stuff. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Know what your poison, you have venomous critters, and you have poisonous plants. Make sure you know what your irritating flora and fauna are for your area. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to make sure you're not bedding down. If you had to start a fire, you're not bedding down in some kind of noxious plant, or if you're cutting any limbs or whatever. Know what a poison ivy vine looks like. Know what a poison oak vine looks like. Because if you put that in the fire, it's going to release the oil in that.
You breathe that in.
Smoke, and you breathe that in, and that could be problematic. So, just saying. Just saying. Things to think about.
Mm-hmm. And knowing the critters in your area would behoove you as well, as they used to tell us in the Army. It would behoove you. There might be scorpions in your area. You'd want to make sure you're shaking your boots out. They've got little wood scorpions here in Missouri, and they're not very big, but they'll give you a nasty bite.
Yeah, they got them down there in Alabama too. We saw
scorpions. Basically, scorpions to get a hold of you.
There's a lot of venomous spiders out there as well. And when you're bit, it's good to, if you get bit and you've got to go to the ER, or you've got to go to a medic, or if you get bit by a toxic spider, a venomous spider. I was going to say poisonous, but they're not poisonous; they're toxic.
Venomous.
It's great, especially if you can snap a picture of it to show them, because there's two types of venom. We lost Doc. These things have two. We lost. What in the heck just happened? What the heck just happened, boys? That was nuts.
You said there's two types, and then you just.
I don't know.
There's two types of these critters out there, these venomous insects, and I'm going to let the medical guy, who's far more qualified than I, to tell you about the two types of venom and how they're both treated.
Oh, me.
Hello. Yeah, you.
Okay.
Hey, ain't talking about Robbie. Him Him and I are just old patrol dumbasses. We ain't medics.
So your venomous
Yeah, he's talking about you, Doc, not me.
arachnids. So we got the brown recluse and the black widow. Black widow is has a neurotoxic venom, which means it affects your neurological system. It can cause muscle cramps and hallucinations and other neurological disturbances, ringing in the ears, dizziness, things like that. Typically, does not lead to death. It's just very you can be very, very sick from it, get very ill from it. The other spider we have to be concerned with is the brown recluse, also known as the fiddleback spider, because the marking looks like fiddle on its back. Or to other, some people might be a violin, but I'm a redneck, so I say fiddle.
Fiddleback.
Yeah, it's a fiddleback spider.
Violin back does not sound good.
Doesn't have the same ring to it.
It's a fiddleback.
Exactly.
It ain't no violin back.
Yeah. Those things they have a hemotoxic venom. Basically, it starts dissolving the tissue, and it may look like and they're, from what I've been told by people I've taken care of, it's a very, it's not a painful bite at all. And people they think, it's just a zit or something like that until they see a black center in it. And that's all a bunch of putrefied, necrotic, dead flesh underneath there. And it can cause some serious systemic infection, disfiguring injuries, reconstructive surgery, skin grafts, things like that. It can cause some seriously nasty stuff, and you can be.
They can mess you up big time.
Yeah. You had to be on some high-powered antibiotics for quite a long time on those things. So, rule of the woods is if you take it off, you need to turn it inside out, upside down, every which way but loose before you go putting it on. So jackets, pants, shirts, anything like that, because you
Do
definitely
the Taylor Swift and shake it off,
bro. Yeah, shoes, boots, socks, anything like that, hats. Check it all out prior to putting it on, man. Yeah,
That's about the only time I'll agree with a Taylor Swift thing.
Yeah. Chicken Burden 69 says took me 6 months to heal from a brown recluse bite on my foot. 100%, man. Yeah, just make sure. Same thing with those little wood scorpions. Those little turds hurt. And typically, unless somebody has anaphylaxis, they don't need to worry about that. It's just going to be discomforting. And so you need to take some Benadryl. You can take some Advil. You can take some Pepcid. And then also something to touch on. If you know you have allergies, environmental allergies, take your freaking EpiPens with you in the woods. Okay. Hillary, what's the first thing you do if a brown recluse gets you? Get to the hospital. I mean, if you don't have, you can take you some Benadryl, you can take you some, chew up some Pepcid, and take that. And when I say Pepcid, people are like, well, that's stomach medicine. It's a histamine blocker. Okay. So histamine blocker, and that's what happens. The histamine is what causes the swelling. So yeah, get you some Pepcid and some Benadryl on board. Remember how much you took, when you took it. Get to the hospital.
I got the question for the medical expert on the panel on the lookity box. Can you tell us about tick-borne illnesses?
Oh God, man. Yeah, you don't want them. So check for ticks. I mean, you've got Lyme disease, Rocky Mountain spotted fever. That Lone Star disease, the Lone Star tick gives you the allergy.
Alpha-gal.
Yeah, alpha-gal. So, yeah, man, just make sure wherever you are, know how to, as far as proper tick removal, they actually have some cool little kits. You don't want to go yanking them out because they'll leave their head embedded. So you don't want to make them throw up, because if you do that, they'll all that gunk will go in your system. So get it let's talk about this. Get a tick off. I'm going to read the steps. Grasp the tick firmly with tweezers as close to the skin as possible. Pull the tick straight up and out slowly and steadily. Don't twist it, jerk it, or burn the tick, because that'll cause it to vomit. And people are like, oh, well, you can cover it with Vaseline, or you can cover it with fingernail polish. Well, yeah, because it can't breathe, but then it still regurgitates all its crap into your system. So Yeah, don't do that. And then after you take it off, clean that area with soap and water, alcohol, and then just water. Watch for signs of infection. So yeah, and definitely check for ticks all over your body, all over your animals if you take your animals with you. So just thinking. Okay.
And that's why I'd rather deal with a snake than I had a tick.
Yep. Amen to that.
Yeah, I don't like ticks. I hate them little bastards.
Well, yeah, and you don't know it. You don't know it.
I'd rather
Man.
deal with a snake than I had a tick or spider or scorpion or any of that kind of
You
crap.
sound like Angie. Angie can't stand the spider.
Damn them things.
And we've talked about a lot of natural remedies in the past. God forbid you don't have your allergy medicine, but there are certain plants that are high in antihistamines. If you make a tea from stinging nettles, that's a great antihistamine. There are certain plants that are what they call, is it quercetin or quercetin? Quercetin rich plants?
Quercetin, yeah, quercetin,
Quercetin.
yeah.
Apples are high in quercetin, onions, most berries, citrus, and oddly enough, red wine. Oh, here's another one for you. If you have bad allergies, and this is something I've done before, I really don't. As much as I love garlic, I don't recommend taking a whole clove in your mouth and just go to chomping, because that's not going to be the most pleasant chewing you've ever had in your life. That is going to be massively overpowering. But if you peel like a full garlic clove and take those individual bulbs off of it, if you are good at swallowing pills, I can swallow pills. You throw that garlic clove in your mouth and chase that down with a glass of water. That garlic, not only will it repel ticks and mosquitoes, there are so many great natural remedies that is good for, and one of those is antihistamine.
Yeah, cool.
Guess I'm gonna go to the grocery store tomorrow.
It contains a compound called allicin, ALLICIN, which reduces histamine and boosts immunity. And that's the raw form. That's not cooked garlic. Most of that gets cooked away. But if you go to the store and buy you some just regular garlic cloves and peel them and get them all broken apart, if you take one of those individual chunks of that clove and just chase that down with a glass of water, if you do that every day for about a week, ticks and skeeters ain't going to come within a city block of you. Thank you for the super chat, Kelly. Really appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right.
Trying to think if there's anything else.
Good bit of stuff tonight, man.
We have covered a good bit.
Yeah.
Turmeric. Turmeric is another thing that has fantastic healing abilities. It helps with inflammation. It works well as an antihistamine. It's got a good histamine response. You can take it as a tea. You can buy capsules of it at Walmart and just take it like a capsule, or mix it into like milk. But I've also heard of people that like mix it with honey and juices. But turmeric, especially if you just start cooking with turmeric, when that gets added to your diet, it's got some wonderful health benefits, and that's just another all-natural remedy.
Yep. Just a guy says, always pack for dragons.
Always pack for dragons. So, boys, we're coming up on the top of the hour. Anything you want to add to that, or any questions any of y'all have on anything that we might be able to cover? Because especially when it comes to, we get the medical answer man here with me tonight. If Steve was here, he'd be right there in the medical mix of things too. That's one of the great things that I like about the way we work together, is we have complementary skills. Robbie and I come from a law enforcement background. Doc and I come from a military background. Doc and Steve both come from a medical background. So we have complementary as well as overlapping skills. And that really allows us to paint you guys a much bigger picture than if it was just me or Robbie or Doc alone up here telling you even similar information. We bring different
I
perspectives.
come from an
and
idiot
different
who's
skills.
tried a bunch of stuff and got hurt background.
Well, like I said, I've told you many times, my mother used to say when I was a little child that I would blunder in where angels feared to tread. And that has kind of been the hallmark of my life. I've had plenty of broken bones and stitches and you name it. If there's a way to hurt yourself doing something stupid, I've found it. I remember when my cousin was riding her bike and she hit a dog, and dog flipped her off the bike, and she hit the ground and put her hand down, and it hit the ground, and it peeled her fingernail off.
Gosh.
And she went running in the house. I mean, she was bleeding, and all my older brothers, since I was the youngest of the group and I was about 6 at the time, they thought it'd be funny. They told me to take the fingernail in the house and see if they needed it. And I did, because I was a gullible little turd, but that was the kind of crap that I did. I mean, I was an idiot.
Hillary,
Some would say,
don't
some
try
say
this.
it wasn't so much was.
Hillary,
don't
it's
try
actually
this.
don't try this at home.
Or also, another infamous Robbieism is hold my beer.
Yeah, that one too. Doc, hold my beer.
Hold my beer and watch this.
And Doc will say, okay, I'll get the
your
med
ass
kit.
in the car. That's usually what he says.
Brent Roberts, my cuz, he says, Doc, tell us about DMSO for healing. What is DMSO?
I've heard about it, dude. I mean, what is it? Dimethyl. Was it sulfur oxide? I think it's So it's yes.
I think you're right.
Dimethyl
sulfur oxide.
Yeah, I mean it was basically initially done. It was for treating like cystitis, bladder spasms, things like that. But even though it's not an FDA approved thing for pain, for analgesic and anti-inflammatory properties, without this is the good thing, without the issues, the negative problems from Tylenol and ibuprofen non-steroidals. You know what I mean? So it's definitely got a lot of good stuff going for it. Other than just loading up on stuff that's going to wreck your liver, wreck your kidneys, wreck your stomach, things like that. So yeah, I've read about it, heard about it, but I'm not super familiar with everything, because it's not it's kind of an off book use whenever there people are using it for that stuff. So, I mean,
What?
You can get cream for it. I mean, I see it. You can get it. You can get Valhalla DMSO on Chewy. So they just for veterinary purposes.
So what about colloidal silver?
That's good in small doses. Don't do like that one dude did that took so much colloidal silver and turned blue. It has silver impregnated bandages and things like that have been used in burn units, because silver is antibacterial in nature, and it helps. Oh, you're welcome, Brent. It helps with to speed healing. And also, people that they use those silver impregnated bandages on had way less incidences of infection and needs for skin grafts and stuff like that. So pretty impressive stuff, man. Yeah. So yeah, DMSO used in equine medicine for sprains. So I mean, I was looking at it, and it's an ointment. So I'm assuming that they're using it for anti-inflammatory, almost like Valporin gel and stuff like that. But that's non-steroidal too. So anyway, yeah.
Well, boys, we are rapidly approaching the 2-hour mark, and we have covered a lot of fantastic material tonight.
A lot of info.
And folks, if there's other topics along these lines you'd like us to talk about, because we've got some others we've already written down. One of these nights here in the very near future, we're going to talk in depth about snake bites and how to properly treat them. We're going to discuss things like cold weather survival. When we were in, was it 2 weeks or 3 weeks, Robbie? We're going to be in Ohio.
This the 24th and 25th, so that's 2 weeks from now, I think.
Okay, so roughly 2 weeks from now, we're going to be at the Ohio Spirit of the Forest. Did I get that right?
Yes, you got it right. Spirit of the Forest.
Spirit of the Forest Bigfoot Conference in Ohio. You can go to Spirit. What is it? No, it's
Bigfoot Festival OH, I think is.
I will get that link and throw it up there here in just a minute. But we're going to be there, and one of the things Robbie's doing at this is he's teaching tracking classes. So I wish I'd have thought of this last year because he did the tracking class before. But this year, me and Noah are going to be there, and we're going to film what he's teaching in the tracking class, and then we're going to do a show just with Robbie walking us through these videos, explaining the tracking classes, and we're also planning to do one on casting, teach you guys how to make it cast, and another one we're planning on is just going to be completely focused on evidence collection techniques. So any of you budding young cryptozoologists out there, or even if you're older like me, you can learn how to properly handle evidence so you don't taint it.
That's pretty cool, man.
So we got some good ones planned for you guys.
Yeah.
And in a week or so, we're going to have Misty Haynes is going to join us from. She's from Woodwalkers. Y'all know Misty. She did our outro song for us. But she's going to be joining us. We're going to be doing a show from her perspective and Doc's perspective, and me and Robbie throwing in, just our own goofy opinions and hopefully learning something ourselves.
Yeah. You don't say.
Like, we're going to do a whole show on herbal remedies and plant medicines.
Nice.
And there are plenty of books out there that you can get on Amazon. I've got half a dozen or so that are all like old Amish remedies and things, things that the settlers and the pioneers did. Those books are worth their weight in gold. Should something bad happens, what we refer to as a shit hits the fan situation, those books can teach you how to keep yourself alive, because a lot of those skills people just don't have anymore. And I'll be compiling a list of the books that I have in addition to the books that I'm going to be acquiring soon, and we will discuss those on a future show where you break down some of these better books that you could get and add to your library that just might come in damned handy one day. Larry Berlin says, is Noah going to teach Robbie wrangling?
That's not something that you can teach.
That's true. That's true.
Doc has mastered it. Get in or I'm leaving you.
Everybody hears the trunk crank up. They're like, oh, crap.
Doc's leaving whether we're in the van or not.
We better go.
But that the truck cranking and you moving it really didn't work until you said, "Get in now."
Do it now.
Do it now. Get to the chopper.
Do it.
Do it now.
Oh yeah. God. We've resulted to dueling Schwarzeneggers.
Yeah. Now.
Roxanne, you're right. Lost Ways are some great books. There's a few of those. Yeah. But again, folks, that's just some of the stuff we're going to be working on. And another so subtle hint about what may be coming in the future, and again involves the letter X and a broader audience. We'll go with that. Yes. A little subtle, a little not so subtle, but over the coming days and the next couple of weeks, we're going to have a major announcement to make. And I think you guys are going to be just as stoked as we are, because it's going to be freaking awesome. But folks, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We love doing shows like this where we can share experience and we can share knowledge and stuff that's practical that you can use, whether you're going camping, hunting, or fishing, or if you're going to be going out poking the bear like we do and trying to stir up Sasquatch. these are skills that can be used in a lot of situations. And if you apply a lot of this to your daily life, things like the rule of three, things like, one is none and two, one is one is none and two is one, things like that. If you remember stuff like that, it goes a long way to help you not just prepare for events like being out in the woods, but it helps you prepare for events around the house, keeping certain things on hand, being prepared for emergencies, because these things do happen. And again, to quote my buddy Doc, the time chooses you. You don't get to pick. You don't get to pick when, you're going to trip and fall off the front porch and break a leg.
Right.
You don't get to pick when you're going to walk out to your mailbox and you get stung by a bee and you're allergic. You don't get to pick when you go out to pick up the newspaper and some jackass that's not paying attention clips you with his car. The time chooses you, and that's extremely important when you're dealing with medical issues, but it's a good thing to remember about life in general. What was the tattoo on the back of John Wick's back? Fortune
favors the bold.
Fortune favors the bold. Fortune favors the prepared. You don't necessarily have to be bold. You just have to be ready. So, watch each other, watch your backs, be prepared. And another great old adage is an ounce of preparation beats a pound of cure. Just have things on hand. Just be prepared for these little emergencies, because you never know when it's going to become critical. And the way things are in the world right now, a lot of uncertainty going on. This is a great time to be prepared for ugly things. Yeah. And I'm not saying it's going to happen. I certainly don't hope it happens. I hope it doesn't. But prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
Amen.
End of the day, ultimately, as much as we like to say we rely on each other, but when the crap hits the fan and everybody's trying to survive, you've got to rely on yourself and protect your family. And it's all great and well. I love these two idiots like family, but if something bad happened tomorrow, they're just a short 10-hour drive away. So I would have to rely on what I could do quickly and the people that I have around me and I know in a bad situation, these two are coming. They'll move hell on earth to get here.
Yes.
It's just going to take a minute. I've got a great group of people for support, but the fact of the matter is when the rubber meets the road, we all deal with it alone at first. You might be able to call in help. You might even be able to rely on other people to step in and pick up the slack. But when the event happens, you're going to face it alone. And that's one of the best bits of advice I can give you. Just be ready. Be ready to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, because it might take a minute for help to get there. Was it Longmire who used to say, "I am 911"? When it comes to an emergency, you are 911.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're going to wind her down. Don't forget our affiliates, the good folks down at Dark Angel Medical. Don't forget to use discount code Cryptid20 for 20% off of your order. This is a fantastic time to get a kit. We've got a survivor in the chat tonight who's alive because he had one of those kits. So this is no longer a situation where this is a mental construct. This is not a what if. We now have living proof in the chat with you tonight of somebody who is here today because he had one of those kits on hand. So folks, the time really does choose you. Check out the good folks over at Sigwo Arms. Fantastic people. They make some awesome pew-pews. If you need a whisper pickle for that pew-pew, they're the guys to talk to. And now they're making ammunition as well. Freedom seeds, if you will. So check them out, sigwoarms.com. Use discount code Bigfoot5 for 5% off your order. And believe me, when you're laying some money on the line, that 5% will come in damn handy. Check out the good folks over at Scallywag Tactical. Discount code DA Roberts 10% off. These are all great products, and the reason these products are in my books, and the reason that we mention these products and we stand behind these products is because we've used them. I stand behind my commitment to Scallywag. I stand behind my commitment to Dark Angel. I stand behind Sigwo because when the rubber meets the road, they've been there when I needed them.
Amen.
Y'all got anything to add to that before we start winding her down?
Nope. Go to Dark Angel Medical. Go check out DA's books on Amazon. Go check out my books on Amazon. And Doc.
Oh! I would be completely remiss in my duties as host of this here show if I did not mention the 22 a day. Folks, we lose 22 veterans and first responders a day. The count may even be higher among first responders because there's just so many of them and they're in every city. But we lose 22 veterans a day to suicide, and we are failing our warriors. We are failing the people that put their ass on the line. We've got to do more. We've got to reach out and check on them, and not just in the hey, it'll be okay kind of thing. Because PTSD is a son of a biscuit, and those are 4 letters I hate hearing because I completely understand what the folks that are dealing with it are going through. It is a ugly thing to have to shoulder, and it's an even worse burden to bear alone. Folks, if you're out there, if you're dealing with something like this, reach out to somebody. Don't wait for somebody to reach out to you. Reach out to them. And if you have a friend or a family member or a loved one, somebody that's close to you that is in that position, a veteran or a first responder, they have seen and dealt with things too horrible to even mention sometimes. And don't let them fight those demons alone, because at least 22 times a day, those demons are winning. And be the brother they need, be the shoulder they need, be the hey fucker, you want a beer? And you don't have to say a word. We'll just sit here in silence and drink beer if that's all you need. But you would be amazed how much something that seems that small, how significant that can be to somebody that's on a ragged edge. You could easily be the anchor that keeps somebody from becoming one of the 22. Sorry, I get a little choked up. Hate it when I do that, but it's just a fact. This is something I'm very passionate about. I've seen too many friends' wives handed a folded flag. I've heard the most horrible sound in the world, which is taps. I've heard it played at too many friends' funerals. Yep. And I hope to God the next time I hear it, it's at mine, because that is the saddest song in the world. And reach out to them. Let them know you think about them. Let them know you care. Let's get 22 a day down to 0. Amen. And we're going to close her out with a toast. And since I'm already about to cry, I'm gonna ask Doc to take us out in the toast, so my voice doesn't break any more than it already has. And I'll bring the quote up, and hope you guys will join us in this toast, because it's something that's very near and dear to me, and it's something I want to keep doing for a good long time to come. And thank you guys for being with us. Thank each and every one of you being part of the family here. And God bless each and every one of you. And may he smile and shine and bring nothing but goodness and joy to your lives. Doc, take us out, brother.
All right. This is from the Irish drinking song called The Parting Glass. But since it fell into my lot that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and softly call. Good night and joy be to you all. Slàinte
mhath. See you guys on Monday night for Monday Mayhem. Good night, everybody, and thank you, and God bless.
Plains, the winds are howling, saloon doors swinging, shadows growling. 3 lawmen stand tough as rawhide. Yeah, Doc and DA, nothing can abide. Whiskey shots and poker faces, staring down the darkest spaces in this town where legends roam. These boys bring justice, send an evil home. Cryptid lawmen, wild and free, hunting monsters for all to see. With dusty canyons to moonlit plains, justice rides with wind and rains. Cryptid lawmen, a fearsome sight, standing tall against the endless night. Jed's a howler, claws of steel, Doc's a biter, makes a devil real. But DA's a shifty one, a shape-shifting soul, can turn to anything, takes any form, takes control. Tonight the chupacabras come to town, sucking the life from all around. But these lawmen, they ain't afraid, they'll face the darkness unafraid. Cryptid lawmen, wild and free, hunting monsters for all to see. With silver bullets and grit of steel, they fight the darkness, make the demons squeal. From dusty canyons to moonlit plains, justice rides with wind and rains. Cryptid lawmen, a fearsome sight, standing tall against the endless night. Bat wings flap, the air grows cold, a chill and trap. But these lawmen, they're ready to fight underneath the pale moonlight. Jed and Doc transform with a howl, DA shifts, becomes a night owl. Together they stand, a force so strong against the evil right in the wrong. Cryptid lawmen, wild and free, hunting monsters for all to see. With silver bullets and grit of steel, they fight the darkness, make the demons squeal. From dusty canyons to moonlit plains, justice rides with wind and rains. Cryptid lawmen, a fearsome sight, standing tall against the